A third straight day of record-setting heat. Crews are racing to put out a pair of fires before they get spread. And our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, is tracking when we're finally going to start to cool down.
Plus, today is the deadline to finish the border wall prototypes. And we have new details on how they'll be tested when the head of border security visits the South Bay tomorrow.
And new developments in the Las Vegas shooting investigation. The focus now shifting to the gunman's laptop and a missing item.
But we begin with breaking news. Water pouring out from a fire hydrant after a car drove right over it.
This is on Imperial Avenue and 65th Street in Encanto. And our 10 News reporter Matt Boone is live where crews are trying to clean up this mess right now. Matt.
Yeah, Steve, the latest development here, the water has been turned off, but the intersection remains partially closed. Now, there were two cars involved in this accident. We'll give you a look at that. There's a black Mercedes here. This is the one that actually hit the hydrant. The hydrant is still lying here on the concrete. And then there was another car behind it. You can still see it in the street. It's that turquoise colored Nissan with the door open. Now, according to witnesses, what happened here, the Nissan, that turquoise Nissan, was coming south down 65th Street across the train tracks. That car struck the black Mercedes in this intersection. They both flew out of control, hit that hydrant. Now we've got video from before. Sky 10 was overhead as that hydrant was gushing underneath the car. We also saw a couple of ambulances out here. It's unclear exactly how many people were transported to the hospital at this point, but it sounds like one person is in pretty bad condition after this crash, though we haven't been able to get a confirmation on that. Police are still out here investigating the scene, trying to figure out exactly what happened and the conditions of the people involved. We're going to stay out here. We're also going to bring you a story later about a woman who was standing right here when that car came barreling towards her with her two kids in a stroller. We'll talk to her coming up later on 10 News. For now, live in Encanto, Matt Boone, 10 News.
All right, sounds like a close call there, Matt. Well, you're taking a live look at Lindbergh Field, where a 34-year-old heat record fell today. And it was just one of several records broken during the third straight day of this heat wave.
Got a lot of records this week. Those scorching temperatures are making the end of October feel more like the middle of summer. Our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, is here to tell us how much longer this is going to stick around, too.
Well, the sad part about this is that, yes, it does get better, but it's going to take some time before you actually feel the difference. So for tomorrow, temperatures will start to drop, but only about 10 degrees or so. So let's get to the wall here. You can see our excessive heat warning still in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Some of the records: Chula Vista 98, the previous record was 93. El Cajon 102, previous record 96. Vista 97 today, 99 in La Mesa, Escondido. And this is not it. We have more. Let's get to the second list of numbers as we see here. Oceanside 93, the previous record 86. Poway 103, one of the hottest places today, by the way, 88, the previous record. In San Diego 98, the record was from 1983, 95 degrees. We easily broke that before 2 o'clock in the afternoon to make it even more interesting. In Ramona 99, the previous record 95, also mid 90s in Carlsbad. Now what's making the difference is the wind direction. Instead of having this offshore flow, we're returning that westerly wind, which is going to make things much better. A red flag warning officially expired, and the excessive heat warning only on for 2 more hours. So improving.
Good news.
We do need that. Thank you. Crews had to battle heat to stop a brush fire from spreading at Otay Mesa today. Those flames started just before 11 o'clock this morning off the Buyer Way and Palm Avenue exit in Otay Mesa West. It was burning in a riverbed, and fire investigators think it may have been started by people living in a homeless camp down there. Crews were able to put it out before any buildings were threatened.
That's not the only fire that kept firefighters busy today. This car turned into a fireball on the 94 East near Home Avenue. There was even a small explosion while other cars drive right past it. Fortunately, no one was hurt, and crews knocked the flames down in minutes. No word on who owns the car or how that fire started.
And we have an update to a story we brought you as breaking news on 10 News at 6 just last night. Firefighters are making quick work of that brush fire to our north. Those flames spread in Ventura yesterday, shutting down Highway 33 and forced a school to be evacuated. Firefighters are now saying it's about 50% contained with 87 acres burned. Crews are still out there trying to make sure those flames don't get out of control again.
While temperatures spiked during this heat wave, sales are doing the same for some local businesses.
It is good for them, and our 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz is live in La Jolla. And Jen, our summer season, it's extending a little bit longer for a lot of people.
Yeah, Steve, well, there are a lot of people out on the coast today, and that's exactly where you should have been if you were trying to cool off. Some people out here right now enjoying this incredible sunset, a lot of surfers in the water. And while the heat is not enjoyable for some people this late in the year, a lot of local businesses do not want it to end. When temps are in the triple digits, the water is the place to be. SDSU students covering Mission Bay, sailing, paddleboarding, and even doing yoga on the water. Rentals for Mission Bay Aquatic Center have been non-stop since summer started. They get about 5,000 kids renting every summer, and with this heat wave, it's not ending anytime soon.
And it's funny that Labor Day usually hits and everything typically slows down. People start thinking about soccer or the holidays and things slow down. Not so much this year because the heat has been keeping people coming out to cool off.
Now, water sports aren't the only thing booming during this heat wave. Coming up at 7 o'clock, another local company who has inventory flying off the shelves. Reporting live tonight, Jennifer Dela Cruz, 10 News.
Those waves do look good. Thank you, Jen. There are more than 100 cool zones across the county to help you beat the heat when those temperatures soar. The public libraries and community centers are great places for kids to go when they get out of school. And you can find a full list of air conditioning spots that's on our website right now, our homepage of 10news.com. And to keep track of the conditions right where you are and for up-to-the-minute weather updates, be sure to download our 10 News app. You can get it free right now in the App Store.
All right, Steve, Brian Schlonsky here inside the 10 News Live Center. We've been talking about the heat and the fire conditions where, well, right now there are two fires burning, one to our north and one to the south. Let's start to the north. We can take you to this. This is in Berea, California. You see the flames here. Here was the scary situation. It's not that big, maybe 5 acres or so. You see how small it is, but look how close it is to this neighborhood. That was the area of main concern, and you see the road there. That road had to be shut down, Carbon Canyon Road. Firefighters still telling people avoid this area if you can. You can see some video from this as well. Then we talked about to the south. If you're looking over the border towards Mexico in Rosarito, this is what they're dealing with there. A fire there, about 63 firefighters working to battle this one. They say in Mexico no evacuations issued yet, but that is something that could come if this thing starts spreading towards Tijuana. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Brian. Happening now, construction crews are putting the final touches on the border wall prototypes in the South Bay. Today is the deadline to finish them, and tomorrow they'll be shown off to the acting chief of the Border Patrol. The 8 prototypes will then be tested by the Department of Homeland Security to see if they can be climbed over, dug under, or broken through. President Trump has said he will come down to view the walls and pick an option.
New details about the investigation into the Las Vegas shooting. A laptop recovered in gunman Stephen Paddock's hotel room was missing its hard drive, and that takes away a key piece of evidence that could have explained why he killed 58 people. Investigators have also learned that Paddock bought software designed to erase files from a hard drive. And earlier today, Paddock's brother Bruce was arrested in Los Angeles for possessing child pornography. According to ABC News, his arrest is not related to the Las Vegas shooting investigation.
Crime alert, the armed man who stormed into a gas station and cleaned out the cash register this morning is still on the loose. And the crime could force the ARCO to change how it does business. The gas station on Massachusetts Avenue in La Mesa has been robbed several times. And the latest crime has employees considering closing the doors at 9 p.m. and only doing business through the window. But neighbors fear that unless the robber is caught, nothing will change.
I hope they find him, because it always happens, and I feel like if they actually catch somebody or do something about it, it would probably possibly stop people from doing it. But if nobody gets caught, people are like, okay, I can just keep doing it.
The armed robber was wearing a surgical mask to cover his face. If you know anything, call police.
All right, this crime map shows that there have been several thefts, robberies, and burglaries in that part of La Mesa over just the past month. The numbers show places that have been victimized more than once. We've made this tool available so that you can track crime right where you live. Just go to 10news.com and click on the Crime Tracker link.
Right now, the power is back on for more than 1,000 SDG&E customers. An animal hit some equipment in the East County this morning, leaving people living there without electricity during our 3rd straight day of record-setting heat. The affected areas include Julian, Pine Hills, and Santa Isabel.
Your money matters, and right now landlords can increase your rent as much as they want once your lease is up. But there's a free online tool that you can use to negotiate and help keep your rent down. Matthew Brewer was told that he would have to pay an extra $200 a month to stay in his North Park apartment. Well, that was out of his price range, but he didn't want to leave, so he went to hotpads.com and he found that his current rent was in the normal range for his area. Brewer took that information and told his property manager that finding a new tenant at the higher price was not a sure thing.
It's safer to have me in the unit paying for my rent than having me move out for them to raise the rent.
It worked, and Brewer got a letter postponing the rent increase until next March. On 10news.com, we have more of how you can use the hotpads.com and some other ways to negotiate when your lease is up.